certainly you would have to see what are the other fighters rated in the top 3, top 4 of the WBO at this time in 140. You got Emiliano Vargas. I believe he currently sits at number 1. Yep. You got Duarte, right? What's the other one? You got Lindolfo Delgado and Ernesto Mercado. So from all four of those, none of them have been world champion. Muratalla has been world champion. So technically, I would say, and the committee would say, you know what? Let's review the professional records of the top 4 and Muratalla. Compare them. And one thing stands out that you have to consider above all else, Muratalla is a world champion, undefeated. The other 4 standing in line have never won a world title.
Yep, and he beat Andy Cruz off a great victory. That's a good point, Gustavo. That's a good point.
So let's see.
So wow, ladies and gentlemen. I think we might have just found who Shakur Stevenson's next opponent is gonna be. As Robert Garcia goes and posts this. Ladies and gentlemen, the clip that I just showed you of Gustavo Olivieri on Cigar Talk, hosted by Najee. Make sure you guys go give him a follow. Always giving us some great interviews for us to react to, for us to learn from. It's the WBO president speaking. Gustavo Olivieri, the man who's in charge of everything, knows everything when it comes to the WBO rankings, WBO fights, WBO timeline. The man says, basically, Raymond Muratalla, if he were to petition, even though he's an IBF lightweight world champion, if he were to petition to the WBO to get mandated next to fight Shakur Stevenson next at 140 pounds for Shakur Stevenson's WBO welterweight title, his junior welterweight title. He says, I would look at, the 4 board members would look at the other top opponents in the WBO rankings, and he broke it down. We got at number 1, Emiliano Vargas, the WBO Latino world champion. He's number 1 yet, has never fought any of the top 10 guys, any of the top 5 guys. Currently right there to get to that position, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, he's ranked number 1. You got Oscar Duarte, Lindolfo Delgado, and you got Tito Mercado. He breaks it down and says, look it, man, at the end of the day, Raymond Muratalla, he's undefeated. He is a former world champion. None of these other dudes can say that. He went as far as breaking down Emiliano Vargas and said, even though he's rated number 1, we will not be mandating him next to fight for Shakur Stevenson's bout due to the fact that he just not established himself yet enough. So that being said, it sounds like Raymond Muratalla, if he were to petition, they would be able to get that fight at 140 pounds. You see what Robert Garcia said, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like they're getting on it ASAP. And possibly, because the way that Gustavo Olivieri sounded, the petition will be passed. And Shakur Stevenson will have no choice but to face Raymond Muratalla at 140 pounds. That being said, Shakur Stevenson did say he wants to fight Raymond Muratalla, right? This is a man that gave 3 opponent names, a list of fighters that he would rather fight at 135 pounds rather than facing O'Shaquie Foster. Even though he gave the man his word, to him, Shakur said, hey, I don't care if I give him my word. I don't care. No integrity. But Shakur said he would rather fight guys like Gary Antoine Russell, who's at 140 pounds, who Gary Russell Jr. has already came out and exposed Shakur Stevenson. He said as soon as we heard Shakur Stevenson say he don't want to fight El Rayo Venezuela and he would rather face the likes of Gary Antoine Russell, as we hear the breaking news, Shakur Stevenson signs to Zuffa Boxing and people are trying to find him as next opponent. El Rayo seems to make sense to a lot of people. It doesn't make sense to Shakur Stevenson. He don't want it. He brings up Gary Antoine Russell. Gary Russell Jr. said as soon as they heard about that, they made contact with Jay Prince. They made contact with Jay Prince. They said, let's get the fight going. And Jay Prince said the 13 will be heading elsewhere. Shakur Stevenson is going to be going and fighting somebody else. So that fight's off the table. I'm hearing talks of Gary Antoine Russell possibly fighting Oscar Duarte, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, man, but Gary's been in the scenes, in the news, but not involving Shakur Stevenson. Now, Lamont Roach Jr. was the other opponent name that just lost to William Cepeda. And he's not going to fight against William Cepeda again, ladies and gentlemen. He said Lamont Roach Jr. is way more established, resume-wise, way more established than O'Shaquie Foster. He said all these dudes at 135 have done way more in this division. O'Shaquie hasn't done nothing at 135, says Shakur Stevenson. And then he ends up bringing Raymond Muratalla up and says, I'll fight Raymond Muratalla. The thing about what made this fight so interesting is that you got Raymond Muratalla, who's the IBF lightweight world champion, and Shakur Stevenson both being rated number 1 and 2, so the Lineal bout would be on the line. The Ring Magazine title would be on the line. Shakur did say that's the title that he really wants to get. Currently holds the Lineal title, the Ring Magazine title, in the junior welterweight division. So that being said, it's looking like now things might not just go the way Shakur Stevenson wants them to go. He continues to call himself a 135-pound fighter, right? To evade fighting and, you know, evade the narrative that Devin Haney's not too big for him. He don't want to fight Devin Haney at 147. He keeps calling himself a 135-pound fighter, even though he currently holds a 140-pound title. So Raymond Muratalla and Robert Garcia say they're done with the 135-pound division. The weight cut is just depleting them too much when it comes into the fight. The weight cut is coming into effect. It's actually affecting Raymond Muratalla's performances inside the ring. And he definitely seen that this last Saturday against Robson Consejo. I thought he looked good, man. But he felt it. So you see what Robert Garcia has been posting on Twitter. Most recently, ladies and gentlemen, he's announced that they're moving up to 140 pounds. He's already trying to make fights happen. He wants big fights to be able to line him up for a title shot. And after what Gustavo Olivieri had to say today, Robert Garcia goes to his Twitter and posts this, basically confirming, all right, we're going to petition, and y'all's going to see us soon. So I'm predicting Raymond Muratalla will be petitioning to the WBO to have him ordered to face Shakur Stevenson next. Let's see how this all ends up going about. Let's see if Robert Garcia said, hey, it looks like he's going to get to it. Let's see if he actually does this. Shakur Stevenson, you got to take this fight. You already ducked Raymond Muratalla once. They offered to take 25% of a 100% split. You get 75, I get 25. That never ended up coming to fruition. You used them as a name to deflect O'Shaquie Foster. And at this point, with not really knowing who you're going to fight next, you don't want to fight El Rayo. You wanted to fight Lamont. You wanted to fight Gary Antoine Russell. Those fights aren't happening now. You don't want to fight Devin Haney, even though there's a title opportunity at 147 pounds in October on the line for you. You turn that down, even though the WBO president announced that if you petition to be next for Devin Haney at 147 pounds, he'll accept it, bro. What's next for Shakur Stevenson, dude? I think it should be Raymond Muratalla. I think it's an exciting stylistic matchup. To be honest, I still got Shakur Stevenson winning. But Robert Garcia and these boys look like they want it, man. So let's see how this ends up turning out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out.